Shalom. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, 1b. We're going to go over a couple of Hebrew words and understanding this kind of matter. Okay, you have Mizraim. All right, now this would be in Hebrew the letter Mem, Zadeh, Resh, Yod, Mem, Sofit. All right, so let it be understood. Mem, Zadeh, Resh. We read the word Matzir when you got into the book of Samuel, which means trouble or distress, all right? Now, the Ayim means anything that is doubled. So if Matzir means distress or trouble or siege, that trouble, distress, or siege is going to be doubled. So it's Mitzrayim or Matzorayim or Matzerayim. All right, so let that be known and understood. That is the understanding from the Hebrew word right here, Zar, which means trouble, as we saw in the book of Psalms 118. Now, another root word concerning this matter is this word here, the Hebrew word zarar. Now, when you go to Leviticus 18, verse 18, we're going to read it, and it reads as follows. Leviticus 18, verse 18, and it says this: Isha el akota, loti kwak lich ror, legalot erwata, aleha bakayeha. Now, one of the things to point out, you read or you heard the word litzror, which is, brothers and sisters, this particular word right here, when you get into the Hebrew. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 18, right here, when you read in the Hebrew, this word where you see where the marker is at, the lamed, the zadeh, the resh, and the resh. The root of that is zarar, and that means to vex or to trouble, to annoy, so forth and so on. The lamed, or the L sound in this particular case, shows it that it is what you will call in Hebrew the infinitive. That is part of what you refer to as the bakalam. The bakalam in Hebrew, when you go into Hebrew verb books, you would have it as beats, roar, meet, keats, roar. Then you would have it as meets, roar, and leets, roar, the bakalam. All right, those familiar with the Hebrew verb books are familiar with what I'm talking about. And that under the verb zarar, which means beats, roar means in trouble or in distress. Keats roar means as trouble or as distress. Leets roar is the infinitive meaning to distress or to annoy. Then you got meets roar, which means from distress or from trouble. So that's a simple breakdown in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, part 1b, because this discussion is going to take several presentations so that way it can be known and understood. Most High bless. But Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, brothers and sisters, when it says Mizraim, and they loosely translated as Egypt itself, you have to understand where the Israelite mind was from the Hebrew understanding. This is why when those who, not to be racial, but who are Caucasian, who try to quote unquote get at Israelites, so to speak, by saying, no, it says Egypt and it can't be talking about the Atlantic slave trade, as we see here, where people were taken into captivity, they are in trouble and they are in ships. All right, it's not too hard to figure out. This picture I'm showing comes from a book called History of Slavery by Susan Everett. Now, the point I'm getting to is you have it to where there are some people who post videos and try to make presentations and attempt to state that Deuteronomy 28, verse 68 is not talking about the reference about the Atlantic slave trade or in the issue of going to Egypt in ships. We're going to continue on in part 2. That is to say, part 2a, to let it be known and understood exactly what Deuteronomy 28, verse 68 is talking about. All right? Shalom. Most High bless.